happy Saturday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 166. We have a juggernaut of a guest on today, and I couldn't be more pumped. Waiting for Big Dave to hop on, and we're bringing on Steven McBee. Could not be more pumped, if I'm being honest. Big Dave, I see you on. I'm going to bring you on in less than 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Let's get this party started, everybody. Let us know how you guys are feeling in the chats. What are you most pumped about? What's going on this weekend? And any questions you might have for Memorial Day weekend. Mike Allen in the house. Unbelievable to see you, pal. Here he is.
What's going on?
Wow. You got a frog in your throat?
I guess I did. Well, I never know what's going to happen here today. So good to see you, man. Happy holiday. What a great day. The remembrance, recollection, and reminding of our country's freedom and the sacrifices and investment that people make their lives into our future. So nothing's better than America and the freedoms that it affords us.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Where are you right now?
I'm at Austin Eckler's wedding here in Lake Las Vegas. So Julie and I are celebrating with one of our favorite kids, the amazing Austin Eckler.
He's a good kid, isn't he?
He's one of my favorite people on earth, and I'm so proud of him, and I can't wait to see him in Washington, D.C. this year, running all over everybody in the NFC. So should be a great time, but his family is so nice, and Clinton's here, Jeff Hoffman's here. So we got a little entrepreneurial reunion beyond Austin himself, Blake Wynn, other friends of ours.
I love that. I can't wait to do something similar.
Oh, I cannot wait. I'm prioritizing my kid, Craig Siegel, the Eagle. So I interviewed someone that called me the sex goose, and I said, "Oh, you must be friends with Craig Siegel."
I think I know what you're talking about.
I figured as much.
Very good. Before we bring out our guest, Steven McBee, I'm very pumped. I wanted to ask you something that I think will be valuable for the audience and also myself. One of the many things that you do so well, Dave, is you build awesome, genuine, meaningful, authentic relationships. One of the best networks I've ever seen. What are some of the keys to building really, really meaningful, genuine relationships?
You know what's funny? I believe it's two things that I do a little bit differently. One, I have my list of associations, relativity, feeding and bleeding, a list of people that I want to stay in contact with. And so for me, one of the distinctive things I do is I spend a minimum of 10 minutes a day staying connected to the people that I care about. And I utilize a criteria of how much does this person bleed me or feed me, how relative are they to me, and what's the association I have to them. And the second one is I codify beyond having a list of those people, which I spend a minimum of 10 minutes of time with. I codify and memorialize how we can help each other. See, the idea of my community, my neighborhood, my frequency is to gather a bunch of people in a variety of different ways that can help each other and know people that can help each other. And so I create overlap agreements that memorialize. It's a non-binding agreement that memorializes how we can help each other. So, for example, if Craig Siegel signs up some of my neighborhood for his group coaching, it's a memorialization of like, hey, I'm going to do this for you if you do this for me, vice versa. And so that value is how we create lasting relationships. And then it also allows us to prioritize because we can see who we want to do business with and how we want to do business with them. And so for me, if anyone wants it, I did a training, I had hundreds of people requested, but I think the biggest distinguishment is understanding how to codify those relationships, memorialize it. If anybody wants that overlap agreement, it's changed my life. It's an 8-figure income revenue stream now after almost 20 years of doing it. And it's a non-binding memorialization that says, hey, Craig, if you get me a speaking engagement, I'm going to give you 20% of what I make. Hey, David, you get Craig Siegel a speaking engagement. He's going to give you this. And it's non-binding. And if it doesn't happen, then you just deprioritize that person to somebody that does feed you more and does help you out. And you still remain friends and you still are in the neighborhood. It's just, if you're going to maximize the opportunity, you want to surround yourself with people that feed you, that are most relative to you and have those associations. And that's been the biggest differentiator. So anybody wants the overlap agreement, it's david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com.
I love it. Yeah, so good. And before I bring on to you, I just want to ask you one more because something happened to me this week, and we always love to bring real-time examples. Actually, I want to speak to you. I didn't know you were at Austin's wedding, so maybe when you have 3 minutes, we could chat. But how do you handle a situation? And this happened to me. I was the one that did it this week. But when somebody under delivers on what they promised to you, obviously that happens because we're having a human experience. I think it's so important, not even so much of the result, but how somebody handles something like that in a situation where you might have under delivered to someone's expectations. How do you handle that?
Well, there's several things involved. It's a great question, and thank you for asking it. So, one of the things is that I try to set up any type of expectation to guarantee it. So, if you come to even my meetups, which are free, or my group coaching, or VIP dinner, or I'm consulting, or any of the other aspects of what I do, I give a guarantee to mitigate that risk that says, hey, if I didn't meet your expectations, because I don't believe it, very, very, very rarely can we ever exceed expectations because people have their own perception. So there's always going to be a variance. And number two, we have to set up a system that allows for, you said the human nature, human condition. It's really human experience in the respect that, hey, the minute we come to a decision together, the minute we come to an agreement, verbal, written, implied, even with payment, consideration is what they call it in the law. When you come to a decision, one thing is instant, that time, value, and emotion changes. Therefore, the situation will change and the value, time, and emotion changes, that you have to spend the majority of your time managing and developing that expectation, managing and developing it to keep it aligned with how time changes, how value changes, how emotion changes, in the aspect that we can't cover all circumstances and situations and nuances in any situation. And so the way that I handle that is I guarantee it. So for any reason at all, I simply just refund someone. And if it's some other thing, a personal thing, then I go ahead and elevate my awareness to how can I align how the time, emotion, and value has changed, etc. And if someone's going into blame, shame, and justification, I immediately address that. And then once again, right in my neighborhood, if they do not take accountability, meaning saying, hey, let's re-engineer this vision to align with what has changed, then I know that there's someone that's going to be deprioritized in the context of the neighborhood or the community. But usually that far down the line, because of the mitigation of risk with the guarantee, because of the alignment with the time, emotion, and value changing, that it's very rare that somebody isn't resolved or there isn't a resolution after things have changed.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Well, that means a lot to me.
It's always like it's not just taking the high road, it's like bigger, right? Like if somebody was really unsatisfied, that's the last thing I want, just take your money back. I wish I could have done better, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, look, you're human. So, things are miscommunicated. I've said things 100 times to people, they don't hear it, right? Every kid, coaching client, even businesses I work with, 100 times I've said things and they don't hear it. So anyway, let's get to somebody important, handsome, and smart. Quit messing around with me, Craig Siegel.
Steven McBee, what's up, brother? Great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Where are you down in from? Where are you
So,
located right now?
so I'm in a small town called Gallatin, Missouri. It's about an hour north of Kansas City, Missouri.
I love it.
That's
Are
where
you on the
that's
farm?
where the nicest people live, by the way.
That's right.
Kansas City.
That's right. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I honestly, this is the first time ever doing an IG live collab, so I was actually trying to figure my way out whenever I was getting on here.
I love it. All good. We're super pumped to have you. And for our communities and listeners, if you're not familiar, do a deep dive, play catch up, watch them on TV, all the things. I want to hit you with some really cool universal nuggets that you talk about tonight. But real quickly, just something that's kind of niche in regards to what you do. I saw you say that 85% of grass-fed beef is coming from overseas. Is that true? And if so, how do we fix that?
That is correct. So 85% of our grass-fed beef is imported from outside countries, mostly Australia and New Zealand. And for us here in the United States, the problem that we have, especially in this meat industry, is is that we've become monopolized, where four big companies own 95% of the meat industry market. So you have all these small town farmers and ranchers that only have 5% of the food chain. They're only selling to these consumers as 5% of the overall marketplace, and the rest falls on these big four conglomerates. So really, it's just about consumer education and being fully transparent and making sure consumers know where their meat comes from. And the best way we can do that as farmers and ranchers is literally through social media and just, again, posting what we do and making sure people know about it.
Yeah. Dave, is he on fire or what?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's really interesting because there's so many social silos out there, and there's so much information and so many different topic subjects and expertises that we want to be able to do. I'm always curious, you know, because I'm in the same situation. If somebody would have told me 10 years ago that the majority of what I do is to create content and post it in a variety of different ways on a variety of different platforms, although I still have my core business, which is exponentially growing because of the content. You know, in my wildest dreams, I would never think that, you know, beef herders, you know, farmers would be, you know, an amazing part of the content creation community. I think it's important for everyone, no matter what you do. And I see this all the time, like really important people with really important issues with great expertise are not participating in social media. And so we're not aware of what's most important to us. And if we don't encourage everyone within their subject matter expertise to go ahead and either hire someone or do it themselves, but to make sure that we're creating and growing a social silo to help make sure that people are aware, because if you're not doing what you're doing, we would not know about it. If you literally just continue to do business, you would be out of business. And we need to elevate the most important things that are best. And especially, right, it's Memorial Day weekend. And I talk about the reminders, the remembrances, and the recollection. If you're not amplifying what you do in a social silo, then you are in the long run in a zero-sum game. You're going to end up at zero. If you enter it, you'll be in the more than enough game, and we'll go from 5% to 10%, 10% to 20, 20 to 40, and we will absolutely be able to bring the intention into what's most important to our country and to our families and into our economy.
Yeah, heck yeah. This is awesome. Steven, I was checking out some of the latest episodes, and it looks like it's about time for you to leading the farm. You ready to rock?
Yeah, I think I've spent my whole life gearing up to know that, you know, being the oldest of four boys, this was going to fall on me. And really,
We can't hear you.
That's because someone's calling him, I think.
Yeah. Okay. In the meantime, Dave.
There, you're back.
We couldn't hear
anyways,
you.
yeah,
You're
I
breaking
spent
up.
the last, can you guys hear me now?
Now you're good, yeah.
Perfect. So I spent the last 10 years knowing, hey, you know, someday this ranch, this farming operation, it's going to fall on me to make the decisions and really lead my family and my younger brothers into the future. And so I have really geared my life towards knowing as much as I can, really about the meat industry, because that's where my passion falls on, not necessarily the row crop side. And have really spent the last few years gearing up for that.
What does it take to be a very successful leader, to elevate everybody around you?
First and foremost, you have to be the consistent day in and day out. So the hardest part about this is anyone that has that entrepreneurial spirit. One of the things that we are is passionate, and I always say it's my biggest strength, and it's also my worst Achilles heel is how passionate I am, because you ride this roller coaster of emotion, right? So if you can flatten out that roller coaster and be the same person day in and day out, even on your bad days, your good days, and just be a consistent presence that's pushing the same message to the entire team every single day, that'll go leaps and bounds further than anything else you can do.
Dave, that's one of your superpowers, consistency.
Yeah, well, I think it is also being comfortable with being annoying. It's the same thing that it takes to be a father. You have to have two qualities in order to be a great leader beyond the intelligent follower that you must be. One, you have to be annoying in the respect that you have to be honest, and you have to be honest with yourself without being hard on yourself, and you have to be honest with other people without them being hard on themselves. The second one is the most annoying one, which all three of us know, which is you have to be repetitive as shit. And I started there saying, look, people don't hear me after the 100th time. And so I think the hardest part about being a leader isn't just being an intelligent follower, but it's moreover that consistent behavior of being honest with yourself and others without being hard on yourself or them being hard on themselves. But most importantly, to be so repetitive and to continue to say the same things about your values, your daily practices, your execution model, and your incentives in order to facilitate a whole collective consciousness and growth. And Stephen, I want to make an offer to you. I want to trade you, man. I need some McBee merch. I'll give you some ferocious. I'll give you some ferocious Buddha. We'll make a merch trade.
Absolutely.
But anything with the big M, man, I gotta have that. That's awesome. People are
Absolutely.
commenting. People are commenting how much they love your merch. So I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh man, I gotta trade my merch for his merch. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm all about it. Yeah, we'll get each other's addresses and shoot them out here after the show.
Right on.
Love a bromance. Steven, what's the deal with these Apex meat sticks?
Yeah, I've been a health nut for years, and I love hunting and fishing, love being outdoors. And I was in Alaska one time on a backcountry caribou hunt, and I had grabbed some beef jerky from the grocery store. Thought it was a health snack because it's being promoted as such. And when we got up there on the mountain, we're looking at the nutritional facts on these beef jerky because we had nothing to do. We weren't seeing any caribou, and the days were 18-hour days. And my beef jerky had almost as much sugar as my brother's candy bar. And it's like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, why is this? You know, the meat industry, these health snacks are marketed as such. And when I got back, I found out that's anything but the case. And this would have been 2017, 2018. Started doing research into it and was like, man, there are no healthy snack sticks or meat products out there. And everyone's being misled on, these meat. And so came out with a high protein, no to low sugar, all natural ingredients lineup called Apex Protein Snacks. And it's really done well since we launched there in 2020.
Dave, we got to get some of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll
Absolutely.
see if
Well,
you guys have some.
I'm an omnivore, so I eat everything, and I try to eat everything that's healthy, especially as you get older, because nobody can explain to you two guys what it's like when you get to be over 55. And I'm sure I don't even know what it's like to be over 60. Shit just changes. But the carnivore diet also is growing, and I have more and more of my clients and friends and family on a carnivore diet. So the Apex is perfect for those people that, it's hard to find meat snacks that are actually healthy and taste really, really good. I do also want to shout out Kathy Cardenas is in the house. She's been a family member of mine for over 20 years in the sports world. And I know she has a few family challenges of her own. I just want to everyone send your love to Kathy Cardenas. She's a beautiful soul. And we all are praying for you and your family. You're a wonderful person. And I'm always so grateful that you're here and sharing with us. So sorry for a little commercial for my friend, but I had to throw that in there.
No, all good. This is so good. And Stephen, I love what you said before about the passion. Sometimes I relate when it's a gift and a curse. Sometimes you almost care too much.
Yeah.
With all the stuff that you guys have going on with the meat sticks, with the farm, with the TV shows, I imagine one of your keys to business success is to diversification.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I would say I'm a little bit too far on the diversification side. If I could redo things, I would rein it in a little bit and focus on a few core niches before diversification. I always say that you get rich focusing on one business and you stay rich by diversifying. So I really should have focused in a little bit more, but hey, we are where we are. And thankfully, I've got a big family, so we can split up our roles and be able to take on these businesses. But yeah, diversification is definitely an essential element. But if anyone's just starting out on the entrepreneurial path, rein it in, focus on one, and then years down the road, diversify once you want to maintain wealth.
That's a good lesson, right, Dave?
Yeah, if you don't have a healthy spine, then the vertebrae are not going to be healthy as well. And so you want a really solid spine. And so, the riches are in the niches. The thing is, when you get rich on one niche, you can then go ahead and diversify into those different vertebrae and go ahead and utilize. So for me, my vertebrae has been utilizing content to build a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. And therefore, for lifetime, those people will buy from you and sell for you. And you can pick and choose and prioritize according to, one, your timing and risk tolerance, and two, the opportunities, options, and touches of favor that exist. And I think in the stage that you're in, Stephen, is that it happens to a lot of us. We have success. And so we're trying out these other sides. And so if you're not in a position where you have great family members or a great association or community that can handle, outsourcing the business is secondarily a great thing. So make sure you have a system to capture all these options, opportunities, and touches of favor. And then it's okay to go ahead and distribute them to Craig Siegel or to other people around the world that are more capable than you are at the time to do that. So there are some solutions if you don't have the family to incorporate or a close-knit group of friends. And once again, I want to repeat, the biggest mistake people make as well with their success is they don't codify the what I call overlap in business, the memorialization, not a binding agreement, but I have an overlap agreement with my dentist. It's like, dude, if I send you a new family, you're going to give my girl Starbucks cards. And it's not a binding agreement. I'm not going to sue him if he doesn't do it. But if you're not asking and codifying, and then that dentist, by the way, ended up getting me one of my biggest speaking engagements because we had a memorialized overlap that said, hey, you give me a speaking gig. And he was, I don't even know, on the committee for the American Dental Association. And like he made more money off of me by getting that speech than he ever has being my dentist.
That's awesome. That's great. An overlap agreement with your dentist.
I have them with everyone, man. I'm gonna have it for Apex sticks, man. I'm gonna have it
That's
for
right.
everything.
That's
I'm gonna get a
right.
free hat. I'm gonna get a free hat for every 100,000 of those things I sell.
You can get a little bit more than a free hat for that.
All right, cool.
I love to create win-wins, so I love it, Dave. Stephen, before we land the plane, brother, it's Memorial Day weekend, and obviously you guys got a lot going on, just in general with the business and so forth. What are you personally most excited about? What has you most jazzed right now?
Really, I'm most excited about our direct-to-consumer meat business. So we're shipping out ranch-raised beef across the country right now with McBee Meat Company. Again, when I talk about transparency in the food chain, to me, this is where we get back to the roots of what built America, and these small-town farmers and ranchers raising cattle, shipping it out to the consumers. Those consumers know where their beef was born, raised, processed at. It all takes place here on the farm, and we just built up the infrastructure. So that's what I'm pumped about to really start scaling up.
Yeah, I love it. Dave, what about you?
In the short term, coming to New York, having our next VIP dinner on Wednesday, so I get to see the Eagle himself, Craig Siegel. In the long run, I'm most excited about. I'm going on tour with Dane Cook, and then Rob Riggle, who's our Kansas City boy there.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so Rob's agreed to MC the event at YouTube Theater. So we'll have about 3,200 people. We'll have a VIP experience, and then the general conversation, the collab with audience participation. So July 19th at YouTube Theater is our first stop. Rob Riggle, Dane Cook, and I will be doing the collab. Go to Ticketmaster July 19th and support us. You're going to have a great evening with us, I promise. And it's the next level for the middle-aged mutant turtle, David Meltzer.
I love it. I see Kathy dropping all the links so everyone can support, get involved with you, Stephen. This was awesome, brother. Can't wait to do more things. We'll connect offline. Thank you so much for stopping by today and dropping these priceless, juicy nuggets. Thank you both. Love you guys. And have an unbelievable holiday weekend.
Thank you so much
Happy
for having
holidays.
me.
Great to
Yep.
meet
Y'all
you,
too.
Stephen. Thank you, brother.
Likewise.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. Have a good one.
Bye,
Bye.
Eagle.
What an awesome conversation. Stephen's first IG Live in the books. We're grateful to have had him. Uncle Dave, as always, enjoy the wedding. And just great stuff, guys. It's a holiday weekend. Spend some time with family. Think big. Journal. Think outside the box. Challenge your limitations. Resist the temptation of giving into the ego. And let's channel our gifts into a lot of good in this world. Yes? Love you guys. If you guys are still on here, if you like free inspirational nuggets throughout the week, you could join our texting community totally free. Just text the number at the bottom of the screen, 917-634-3796. Thank you again, Stephen, Kathy for setting that up, Uncle Dave. And guys, go check out everything both Dave and Stephen have going on. And thank me later, you dig. Toodles.